Welcome, everybody. Hi.
Hi.
All right.
Oh,
Look, did everybody make themselves a sausage? Dish
yes.
towel rolled up? Okay. We're going to start today on our backs. And if you have your sausage already ready, go ahead and set it along the center line of your mat toward the back, making sure that you've got maybe 3 or 4 inches before the back end of your mat. Go ahead and sit your butt down right in front of the sausage. So your tailbone is just touching it. And then go ahead and lay back on the sausage so it goes the whole length of your spine. This is actually a very gentle version of a pose called supported fish. And it's great for relaxing and opening up your heart. Okay. When you're nice and comfortable with your spine laying down across your sausage, your spine sausage, take a moment and tuck your shoulder blades back and around so it feels like they're hugging that little bolster that you just put down on your mat. Let your hands rest gently by your side, maybe 6 or 8 inches away from your hips. See if you can rotate your arms and your hands just a little bit so the backs of your hands are resting gently just off the edge of your mat. Let your gaze soften or close your eyes and take a moment to point your toes forward. Point and point, just like Barbie feet. Straighten up your knees, straighten up your legs, stretch long in your whole lower body. Tone your tummy and then move your heels away from one another. So they're maybe hip distance apart. Point those toes, then relax. Let your toes flop out to the side, just resting your feet on your heels. Take a moment to check in with your breath. Let your breath slow down just a little bit. A gentle inhale and a gentle exhale. If it helps you to be in tune with your breath, you can rest your left hand right over your heart and your right hand over your tummy, letting your elbows and your upper arms still rest against your mat. Just prop your palms over heart and tummy. Keep up now with your nice, gentle breath, making sure that your inhale and your exhale are slow and just about the same length. Take 1 or 2 breaths to count quietly to yourself. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Two more nice natural breaths. This time when you inhale, Pause at the top. Hold the air in your lungs. Really feel your chest expand. Push your shoulders down into the mat, opening your heart just a little bit more. And then exhale. Pause at the bottom of that exhale, letting yourself be empty for just a second. And then inhale again, keeping the same count, the same length of the breath, but pausing for just a little bit when you're full and just a little bit when you're empty. Do 2 or 3 more rounds of breath to the rhythm of your own breath. Feel your chest expand under your hand. Feel your tummy expand under your right hand. One more breath. Let your hands drop down. Return to your natural, gentle breath. Bend your knees, letting your soles of your feet go flat on your mat. And roll just a teeny bit to the left or the right. Let your hand go underneath and grab your towel sausage and drop it off the side of your mat. Returning to a nice position on your back, shoulders tucked in just like they were around the sausage when you had that extra support. Knees up, feet flat against the mat. Bring your arms out into a T shape so the backs of your hands are just off your mat. Take a moment and stretch long, pushing the backs of your fingernails down into the floor. Stretch wide, stretch long, and relax that. Let your elbows, your upper arms, your forearms rest gently against the floor one more time. Push up with your feet. Shift your hips over to the right, maybe 2 or 3 inches, and then drop both of your knees over to the left, keeping your knees stacked one on top of the other and your feet side by side. You'll be resting on the side of your left foot. A nice long spinal twist. Keep up with your gentle breath now and throughout the practice. Feel the stretch in your upper body, especially the right side, from your collarbone all the way down to your elbow. Really feel that opening up. Feel the twist down along the right side and over your hip, going all the way down to your knees. Twists are wonderful before dinner because they're great to help digestion. And believe it or not, a twist helps you unwind at the end of the day. With your next inhale, swing your knees back up toward your ceiling. Shift your hips back toward the center and straighten up your feet again so that they're about hip distance apart, flat against the floor. Take an inhale and an exhale. Push up with your feet, shift your hips over to the left 2 or 3 inches, and then let your knees fall over to the right. taking that long twist again. Let your shoulders stay flat against the floor. It's better to have your knees up just a little bit, but your shoulders flat against the floor than it is to push your knees all the way down so they touch and have your shoulder pull up. Relax the shoulders. Keep up with your breath. And if you feel at any time like you'd like to deepen the twist just a little bit, you can take a little swivel with your neck and look out toward the thumb on your left hand. Give it a wiggle so you know where it is. Watch it either directly or out of the corner of your eye. Turning that cervical spine, the vertebra around the neck, just a little more to deepen the twist. Two more breaths here. And with your next inhale, bring your knees back up, pointing toward the ceiling. Square up your feet, square up your hips. Go ahead and wrap your hands around your knees, just below the kneecap. Pull those knees in toward your chest. Flex and point your ankles, pointing your toes, giving a little bit of stretch. Let that left leg go long, heel against the mat. Use both hands to hug your right knee in toward your chest, nice and tight. Keep your toes flexed, your ankle flexed, so the toes are pointing back toward your knee. Shift your hands to go underneath your knee, right behind your thigh. Push that leg straight, pushing your heel up toward the ceiling. Toes back towards your knee. Keep that knee bent a little bit if your hamstrings are still a little cranky. But give it a try. Nice little stretch. Use this as an opportunity too to tone that tummy. Keep your core engaged even when you're on your back. Gentle breath. Inhale and exhale. Bend that knee, bring it back toward your chest. Release your hands. Let that knee go back down. Sole of the foot against the ground. Hug your right knee toward your chest. Give it just a quick little hug. And then cross your left ankle over your right knee so that your legs are sort of making a figure four. Okay? Take the palms of your hands, rest the left palm of your hand just below your knee. Rest the right palm of your hand just in the crease of your hip bone on the right side. Push with just a little tiny bit of pressure. Push down with your hands, letting those hip joints open up just a little more. If you'd like to deepen the stretch, take your hands, bring them around behind your knee on the right-hand side and pull that knee towards you, leaving your left ankle still crossed across where your knee is. Send that that right foot way up toward the ceiling. If you look down at your legs, you see you really are in a figure four now. This is a supine pigeon pose and is great for opening up the hips. Toes back toward your knees to keep your knees safe. And if at any point this is uncomfortable, bend your knees a little more, or you can go back to having the sole of your right foot on the mat with the bent knee. Keep up with your gentle breath, in and out. Inhale, and with your next exhale, bend your knee, bring the sole of your foot back down onto the ground, uncross your legs. Take a moment and stretch long. Point those toes, straighten those legs, heels against the mat. Stretch your arms way up and above your head, fingertips toward the wall behind you. Stretch as long as you can, just like a cat stretching. Breathe in, breathe out. Let the inhale make you even longer. And with an exhale, let it go. Relax everything. Bend your knees again. Bring the soles of your feet back against the mat, close to your bum. Grab that right knee, pull it in toward your chest for just a second, and then let that right ankle cross across your left knee. Using your palms, push away at the hip joint, at the knee, to add just a little bit of extra tension to the stretch. Making some space for more breath, loosening up tight hips after a long day of sitting. Push those thighs, push that knee away. Keep up again with your gentle breath. Be mindful. With your hands on your thighs, can you still feel the breath moving like you did at the beginning of practice when you had your hand on your heart and on your tummy? You might be able to. Again, if you'd like to deepen this stretch just a little bit, reach back behind that left knee. Pull that knee closer, pushing your heel up toward the ceiling. Straight arm, interlaced fingers right behind that knee.
That's perfect. Oh, yeah.
All the way up with your heel. Hi, Martha. How are you?
Oh, hi. Sorry.
Push that heel up. I'm glad you could join us.
Thank you.
Figure 4, supine pigeon pose. Inhale and exhale. One more. Inhale and exhale. Bend that knee. Set that foot back down against the mat. Uncross your legs. Spread your knees wide. Bring the soles of your feet together, coming into a supine cobbler pose. Supta Baddha Konasana. Let your knees go wide. Let your hips relax. Chances are, unless you're super springy and open, your knees are not quite reaching the ground. I'm pretty sure Amanda's are, but probably the rest of us aren't. If there's any tension on your hips because your knees are sort of hanging out there, you can always tuck a block or a folded blanket or a pillow underneath your knees to support them. Let your hands go back onto your tummy or tummy and heart. Take a minute just to let your lower body melt while you return to your breath, keeping focused on the breath moving in and the breath moving out. Slowly spiraling around through the nose, into your chest, into your tummy, bringing peace and bringing energy with it. Be mindful now of any tension that you're still feeling after a hard day at work, sitting at your desk, looking at your computer. Anything that feels tight, anything that feels glitchy or ouchy. As you exhale, let that glitch, let that ouch, let that tension just blow away with the breath. Inhale. Let your hands really feel your belly inflating. Bring in a lot of air, deeper breath than usual. And let it go. Let your hand on the outside of either thigh. And let your hands help your knees come back together, reaching toward the ceiling. Take a little wobble over to the left or the right, rolling over onto the side that's calling you. Rest for just a second to get your bearings. Stretch your top leg long and using the strength of your arms and the firmness in your core, tone that tummy, press yourself up into a seated position, swing your legs around, and come into table. Remember, our table is going to be nice and square. We don't want any lopsided or wobbly tables. Put your wrist creases under your elbows under your shoulders. Take a look back and make sure your knees are hip width apart and right under your hip bone. As you inhale, move your whole body forward, leaning. As you exhale, circle around toward the right, pushing all the way back so your butt goes a little closer to your heels. Make sure when your butt's the farthest back it can get, you've exhaled. And then start the inhale again, swinging over a little bit to the left as you come forward. Bringing your shoulders in front of your hands. Go ahead and make those big lazy circles, 2 in each direction, inhaling as you go forward, exhaling as you go back. Do it to the rhythm of your breath. Loosen up those hip joints, loosen up those knees, loosen up those wrists. Reverse to the other direction if you haven't done so already. And with your next inhale, square up that table. Tone your tummy, holding that belly button just a little bit closer to your spine. Take a moment and tip your pelvis forward So your tailbone goes up and your tummy reaches toward your mat. Just a little bit. Now go in the opposite direction, tucking your tailbone down, letting your back curl just a little bit. A mini cat and cow pose. Go back and forth between these very tiny pelvis tilts, cat and cow. Inhaling as you tip your pelvis forward and your abdomen drops down. Exhaling as you tip your pelvis back, tucking your tailbone in, making just a little arch. If you're a great aficionado of cat and cow, you're like, come on, I just want to do a big one. Okay, next breath, do a big one. Inhale for that cow, letting your tummy really sag and your tailbone go high. With your exhale, reverse it, starting with the tailbone, and let every vertebra in your spine arch up toward the ceiling. Tuck your tailbone in, resting to come down, your chin and the top of your head. Let your head, the crown of your head, reach right between those hands. Inhale back into that cow, long and leisurely. Feel the stretch. And when you're in your full cow pose, take a moment to really try to open up across the collarbone just a little bit more, knitting your shoulder blades a little closer together. Exhale back into your cat, crown of the head reaching down, chin tucked, tailbone down. Inhale back into your cow. Two more cats and cows, long and leisurely, to the rhythm of your own slow, restful breath. With your next inhale, square up your table one more time. Take a second to adjust your hair or tug on your yoga pants just a second. Square up that table. Push your right foot back into space. Let your toes touch the mat way behind you. Push back into your toes, back into your heels, and really feel the stretch. One more inhale and exhale here. Tone that tummy, lift that back leg so that it feels like it's coming right out of the hip joint, nice and straight. Three-legged table. Take a moment to make sure you're balanced. And then if you're really feeling it today, go ahead and lift the opposite arm, lift the opposite hand, stretch it forward, just like a pointing hunting dog. Breathe here. And with your exhale, bring everything back in. Take one round of cat and cow. Reset that spine. Resettle those hips. Push back with your left leg, toes against the mat, pushing back through that heel, really opening up on the hamstrings, Achilles tendon. Push, let them open. Tone that tummy, sending that belly button toward your spine. Lift that back leg straight out, just like it was a table. Keep pushing back through that heel. And with your next inhale, if you're feeling it, lift that right hand, bring it forward, hunting dog. One more inhale. And with your exhale, bring it all back in. Palm to the mat, knee to meet the other knee. Walk your hands out and up, one handprint. Push your hip back over your heel, dropping your forehead down toward the mat so your ears are right between your upper arms, coming into a long puppy stretch. If you have to work your hands forward just a little more, go ahead and do that. Long puppy stretch. Now take a second and be mindful of how your pelvis is sitting here. Are you hunched over, like so? If you can, try and push your tailbone up just a little bit in this position so that if you were a cat and had a tail, or a peacock and had beautiful feathers, they were up for everybody to see. Push back in your puppy. Rise up just a little bit, bring your hips just away from your knees. Wiggle your butt just a little bit like a puppy, hips side to side, and come back up into your long table. Remember, our hands are a little bit forward of a regular table position now. Still on your knees. Good? All right. Now, walk your knees back just a little bit. Bring your knees close together. Let your feet be side by side. You're now in a long supported plank, either butt up or butt a little bit down, whichever feels best to you. Hold that tummy. Start bending your arms, bringing them right next to your chest. Let your whole tummy and then your boobs and then your nose and your chin go down to the mat. All forward, flat, straight down. With your inhale, come up just a little bit. Wiggle your arms so your elbows come right under your shoulders. And let your hands stretch out in front of you, opening your fingers wide. Be very mindful. Try to roll your shoulders up and back just a little bit, opening your collarbone in the front. Open your heart just a little more, pushing forward. Back behind you, push the tops of your feet, your toenails, your pedicure onto the back of your mat. Push down, engaging your legs. You might realize when you did this that your shins lifted completely up off the ground and possibly even part of your thighs. You might be resting just on your hip bones right now. That's really good. Grow taller, grow longer. Let your neck and your head be just a little lighter in this Sphinx pose. This is one of Cashews and Almond's favorite poses, by the way. Take a nice stretch, our first real back bend of the day. Tuck your chin toward your heart. Stack one hand on top of the other and let your elbows come out to either side. Rest your forehead right against your hands. Bend your knees so the soles of your feet are pointing up toward the ceiling. Do a little bit of a windshield wiper action. Let your legs go from side to side with the rhythm of your breath. Exhaling as you go off to a side, inhaling as you come back towards center, and exhaling again. 3 more windshield wipers. Make sure to do both sides. Nice and gentle. Lay your legs back down with your next inhale. Push your shoulders down and back, letting your shoulder blades wrap gently onto your back, just like angel wings. Lift your forehead just a little bit. Bring your hands down so that they're just under your shoulders. Your thumbs nestle gently on either side of your chest. You can either have your forehead resting against your mat or hold it just off the mat so that you're staring at it really close. Pushing down with the tops of your feet, pressing your toenails into the mat. Engage your legs again. Really feel it. Feel the bottom parts of your legs lift up off the ground. You're just resting on your hip bones now again. Tone that tummy. And as if a string was at the back of your neck, pulling up toward the ceiling, let your upper body come up off the mat, pushing forward with your hands and then backwards toward your feet as you rise up just a little bit. Keep your chin tucked down toward your heart, coming up into your baby cobra. You might be up only an inch or two, but that's enough. With an exhale, let it go. Relax your legs, relax your feet. With your next inhale, come up again into your cobra. Maybe going a little deeper this time, a little higher. And let it go. Flip your toes so your toes are against the mat, heels up toward the ceiling. Bend your knees, pushing back with your hands, come back into that puppy dog position. Long arms, long back. Send your nose toward your mat, bring your ears down between your upper arms. Take that little tailbone tip. Stretch long. How much space can you make from your hip bone to your fingertips? One more inhale. And come back up into your table position. One more time. Square up so that hip creases and knees are aligned. Wrist creases, elbows and shoulders are aligned. Spread out your fingers and grip like you were touching something soft and lovely, like velvet or like crystal sand on a beach in Florida. Let your fingertips grip for just a moment and let it go. Grip those fingertips and let it go. When you grip, do you feel the center of your palm coming away from the mat? Do that again. Grip and let it go. Okay. Taking that right foot, push it back again, coming into that three-legged table. You don't have to push back with the heel this time on the ground. Just bring it straight out and back. Tone your tummy. Swing that right leg out and off your mat, letting the sole of your foot find a spot just off the mat. Spider walk your hands back and come up into a nice straight position. Got it? Everybody's going to have like a V leg. Down on the left knee, right leg out wide. Okay. If you need to pad your knees, we're going to be here for just a second. You can grab your towel, put it across your mat, making a little cushion. Sweep your arms up and overhead, steepling your fingers way above your head, pressing the tips of your fingers together. You grip them against the mat. What do you feel when your fingertips come together? Hi, Cashew. Inhale. And with your exhale, take a lean toward the right over that extended leg. Let your arm come down, spider walking your fingertips down toward your knee, toward your foot. With your next inhale, look up toward your hand above you. Open your heart any amount, coming into just a tiny little twisty back bend at the top. Just a little, not too much. Inhale. With your exhale, cartwheel those arms up, coming all the way over. Land your left hand down next to you, next to your knee. If you'd like, you can grab a block or a book, Harry Potter or a dictionary or a big cookbook, putting down flat beside you. Let your hand go on the book, if you have short arms like I do. Other arm straight up. Stack your wrists, one on top of the other. Stack your shoulders, one on top of the other. From the tips of your right fingertips all the way down to your left. You should be nice and straight. All right. Everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I dropped my mic. One more inhale, and with your exhale, cartwheel those hands down, bringing them into table position on your mat. Tuck that knee back in. If you think you want to use a block when we even up and do the other side, you can put that block into position now. Over on the right. Push that left foot back into space, coming into that three-legged table. Inhale and exhale and tone that tummy. Swing that left leg wide and off your mat, letting the sole of your foot meet the floor. Spider walk those fingers up and back. Sweep your arms up and overhead. Inhale and grow taller. Take just a little lean over to that left side, letting your left hand come down over your leg. Spider walk those fingers down any amount, just past your knee, down your shin a little bit, wherever it feels comfortable. Don't go too far. Breathe. And breathe. And if you feel like you'd like to deepen the stretch just a little bit, open that up just a tiny bit. Look up toward your right hand. Check out your thumb. Open your heart. Looking toward the ceiling, just a little bit of a twisty back bend. Inhale and exhale. Straighten back up, cartwheel those arms up and over. Find your block or the floor over on the right-hand side, landing the palm right near your knee, about a foot away. Straighten those arms, stacking shoulder over shoulder, wrist over wrist, looking up toward your ceiling or down toward your palm, whichever is kinder for your neck today, or down toward your cat, either one. Sweep your arms up. How does your neck feel better? Looking up, looking down, or looking straight out? One more inhale. And with your exhale, cartwheel down, coming back into that table position. There you go. Settle back, knees wide, toes together, heels together, coming back into a child's pose. Let your hips settle back toward your heels. Let your upper body approach the mat, nose toward the mat, elbows toward the mat, fingers engaging way out in front of you. Stretching long, opening the hips, stretching the back, stretching the shoulders. Inhale, and then with an exhale, land your elbows on the mat. Let your head come down and face to your favorite side, resting on your temple. Letting your lower arms just be loose and relax. With your next inhale, switch your head to the unfavorite side. I always start on my right and then end up on my left. Let yourself melt just a little bit. Re-engage those hands coming up onto your forearms and push forward just a little bit, bringing your knees in and coming back into that Sphinx pose. Settling down so that your hip points are down on the mat. Your toes are engaged, the tops of your feet are engaged, your lower legs, your lower thighs lift up off the mat. Tone that tummy, bring that tummy away from the mat too. Open across your collarbones, tucking your shoulders back. Lift your chin just a little bit, deepening that back bend into a broader, prouder Sphinx pose. Inhale and exhale. Let your knees touch the mat again. Relax your legs just a little bit. Take a little rotation of your hands, pointing your fingers toward the corners, the front corners of your mat. You're going to spiral just a little bit, opening up from the elbow. Feel the grip of the mat. Take a second and grip with your fingers again, like you were in velvet or sand. Really feel the mat. Then push down with the heel of your hand, the palms of your hand. Push up, lift your elbows, coming up into an up dog. Straighten your arms, straighten your elbows. Just a little micro bend to keep you from overextending. Push up and back. Tummy is not on the mat. You're resting on the tops of your thighs. Inhale, and with an exhale, let it all go. Come back down onto the mat. Make a little pillow, hand over hand. Rest your forehead on your pillow. Inhale and exhale. Lift your right leg up off the ground. Push back with your toes, back and back, stretching long, and then lay that leg down. Do the same on the left, picking that whole leg up, stretching from the hip joint all the way to the tips of your toes. Point those toes, point them, point them, point them. Really engage that leg, and then lay it down next to its friend. Foot to foot, side by side. Come down onto your favorite cheek again. I always start with my right. You can start with whatever side you like. Put your hands back so your hands, thumbs are right next to your hips. Your hands are palms up, right at hip level. Lift your palms up toward the ceiling, lifting your arms. Your shoulders are off the mat. Your arms are lifted, pointing back just a little bit, right next to your hips. And with an exhale, let it go. Now feel like somebody put a brick or a jar of peanut butter in each of your open palms. Grip that jar, curling your fingers just a little bit, rotating from your shoulder blades. Push up one more time, really feeling the tension in your arms as you're pushing up and away with that weight pushing down. And let it go. Bring it all back down. All right, now we're going to put it all together. With your inhale, lift your legs in the back. Exhale. With your next inhale, lift those arms. And exhale. With your next inhale, lift your chin just a little bit, looking forward any amount to just off your mat. Crown of the head almost pointing up, not quite. And with an exhale, let it all go. Everything back down to the mat. Come back onto your unfavorite side this time, temple toward the mat. With your inhale, lift those feet, stretching back. Exhale. With your next inhale, lift those arms. Exhale. With your next inhale, lift that head, coming into locust pose. And let it go. And then bring your hands up, tucking your thumbs next to your chest, palms right under your shoulders. Flip your toes around, inch forward like an inchworm, bringing your butt up just a little bit. Pushing up with your hands, taking the weight on your knees, push yourself up and back. Coming into that long puppy pose one more time. Forehead toward the mat. Long from the hip joints all the way to the fingertips. Inhale and come back toward table. Look forward. Step your right foot up between your hands. You can pull, you can move the hand if it won't go there. Somehow get that foot up between your hands. If you have very short arms like I do, you can bring in your block or your peanut butter jars or whatever you're using to help give yourself a little bit of extra height. Pushing up with your fingertips, straighten up, take a deep breath. With your next inhale, bring both hands to your knee. Straighten up long and tall, resting on your left knee, Hands crossed across your right knee. With your next inhale, let your hands go up. Take a little back bend and stretch, opening your heart, showing your face toward the ceiling, looking up toward the light. Inhale. And with an exhale, cartwheel those hands down, coming back onto your blocks. If you're using a block, move your block on the left-hand side so that it's at its lowest level, right down next to your right foot. Place your palm on that block, open up toward the right, coming into a nice long twist. Inhale and exhale. One more. Inhale. And with your exhale, bring your twist down, move your block back off to the side, flip your toe in the back, pushing up, coming into a long lunge, bringing that knee up off the ground. Step forward so that you're like one walking pace between your feet. Adjust your blocks, bringing them forward just a little bit, fingertips on the blocks, flat back. Let this pyramid pose give you a good stretch for the hamstring. Great if you've been sitting all day. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Bend your knees just a little bit, step forward so your feet are side by side, about hip distance apart, keeping your fingertips on the mat or on those blocks. Step back with your right foot about one nice walking pace, not too far. Keeping both of your knees nice and straight, just a little micro bend so you're not hyperextending. Flatten that back. Putting a little flip to your tailbone. Remember your tail if you're a cat, or your feathers if you're a peacock. 3 breaths here. Really feeling that nice stretch all the way up and down the hamstring. Nice and gentle. And again, if any time this is not comfortable, you can always bend your leg just a teeny bit. Bend your knees just a bit. Send that back foot, that right foot, just a little bit farther back, coming up on your toes. Bend your front knee so that your knee is over your ankle. Stretch back through that heel, then bend the knee and land it back down on the mat, coming into that low lunge again, but on the other side. Okay. Everybody good? Okay. Grab that block on the right-hand side if you're using one. Put it in the center of your mat next to your left foot. Put the palm down on the block or on the mat. Exhale, and with an inhale, open up in a big twist to the other side. And with an exhale, bring that back down. Set your blocks aside. Tone that tummy. Cross both of your hands over your left knee. Sit straight and tall, growing a little bit longer in the spine. Letting your neck grow taller, letting the top of your head reach toward the sky. Feeling balanced, tone that tummy. Bring your hands up and overhead, taking that little back bend. Palms face toward the ceiling, opening up your collarbones, opening up your heart. Inhale. Exhale. Sweep those arms down, let them meet the mat in front of you. Tuck that left foot back, knee meets knee, foot meets foot. Cross your ankles and see if you can flip back over onto your easy seat. They got that? Yay? Okay, good?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, you have the option now of going back to what we did to start, that supported fish pose, using your rolled up towel as a little bolster to keep your spine up and your shoulders tucked. That's a beautiful way to do Savasana if you'd like to try it. If not, if you just want to melt, go ahead and come back down on your back with or without the extra bolster. Straighten up your top, pull your shirt down a little bit, pull your sleeves down. Point your toes, stretching your legs. Raise your arms up overhead, pointing your fingertips toward the wall behind you. Stretch long, be as tall and as long as you've been all day. Inhale and exhale. Interlace your fingers, flip your hands, push the palms of your hands toward the back, changing the stretch for your shoulders just a little bit. Bend your knees, plant your heels close to your butt. Feet flat on the floor, hips nice and square. Let your hands go, coming into cactus arms. 90-degree angles between your forearms and your upper arms, bent at the elbow, palms of the hands up, backs of the hands touching the floor on either side of your mat. Let your shoulders melt. Heel toe your feet a little bit wider now so that the tips of your toes are just hanging off the mat and your heels are pointed in just a little bit. When you get there, let your knees fall forward toward each other, meeting right at the center of your body, sort of knocking those knees. Feet against the mat, knees together. This is a wonderful position that doesn't actually have a Sanskrit name, called constructive rest. It's the very best position to hang out in if you just want to melt. Take a moment and return to your breath. Let that breath be an anchor for you. Feel the inhale, inflating your chest, your lungs, inflating your tummy, taking up all the space that you just made by stretching and twisting and bending. As you exhale, feel yourself getting just a little smaller. Your tummy sinks, your chest contracts, you feel your shoulder blades and your shoulders getting close to one another again. Inhale. Feel the breath make you bigger. And exhale. Feel the breath leaving and taking away every last little bit of tension that you have in your body. Feel the mat under your feet. Feel the carpet or the floor under your forearm and the backs of your hands. Feel the pressure of the mat on the back of your head. Feel your shoulder blades tucked gently together, just like little wings that are tucked in. Feel your tummy toned. Feel your jaw relax. Feel the skin at the sides of your face, around your eyes, flatten and relax. Breathe gently. Breathing in the peace and the energy that you've been looking for all day. And breathing out any tension, any cares, any worries. Keep up with your breath. Return a little wiggle to your fingers and your toes. Pull your toes up off the mat. Wiggle them around, all the little piggies. Close and open your fists several times, stretching those fingers. Move your wrists in little circles. Heel toe your feet back together at the center of your mat. Let your knees drop over toward the right and bring your whole body with it, curling up into a nice little ball on your right hand side. Cradle your head in your upper arm. Take one more second here just to rest, just to be, just to know what you need to make this day complete. Let your top leg lengthen, straighten, foot touching the mat in front of you. Using the strength of your arms, the strength of your core, go ahead and push yourself up, coming into a seated position that makes you happy. cross-legged, legs straight out, sitting up on a block, whatever feels good for you today. Take one more second to really root down. Feel yourself sitting on the mat and sitting well. Feel that little tip of your pelvis that lets your tail plume. Let your spine grow taller. Tuck those shoulder blades back like wings. Let your neck and head grow taller. Let your chin come in just a little bit, settling the back of your head a little bit closer to being in line with your shoulders. Undoing all the turtleneck you've had all day hunched over your computer. Inhale and exhale. Bring your hands together, thumbs toward your heart, fingertips touching, palms apart. Feel the grip between your fingers, the heat and the pressure between them. Lower your chin toward your heart. And if you've had your eyes closed, open them gently now. Raise your head, looking forward again. May you be happy. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be filled today and every day with loving kindness. May you have a wonderful evening. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nick.